Hi, in this lesson, we're going to talk about HTTP status codes and what's a 404 so that you can help your students and customers with their tech support. Hi, I'm Angel from RT Course Experts, and we help creative online course teachers with their tech. In this lesson, we're going to go over what are HTTP status codes. First of all, what is a status code? So the HTTP status code tells your browser or your application if a server resource like a web page, an image, a video, a PDF, if it was found or if it wasn't. It's that simple. That's what an HTTP status code does. What is HTTP? First of all, it's a protocol. So it's a way that the client, like a browser, and the server, like your LMS system, talk. It's how they talk. They send messages, how they communicate, how they exchange information. So that's what a protocol is. In that protocol, every time a message is sent back, that's a status code. So let's go through this step by step. Every time your browser or your application needs something, it makes an HTTP request. Think of it like a telephone call. So every time your browser needs a little bit of information from your course system, it talks to the course, it makes a phone call, and it says, "Hi, course server, I would like to ask for something. I would like the logo for this course." Then the server says, "Oh, okay, I understand you've asked for the logo. I have that logo, and here it is. And by the way, that was a success." And then the browser takes back the response and does something with it. And remember, your browser or your students' browsers, when they're asking for parts of a course, they might be asking for lots of different things. Hey, let me get the logo, let me get the video. What is the theme and the colors that we should use? What is the HTML and all this stuff? So your browser is asking for all these different requests. And each of those requests comes back with a response. I got it, I got it, I got it. Oh, this request no longer exists. And then the browser decides what to do with all the different responses and the data that came back. And if some of them are critical, then the browser might not be able to show the course page to your students. Or if the browser received almost everything and it could maybe handle one or two mistakes that it might hide or ignore, then the browser will try its very best to draw that lesson page or the curriculum page or to get your student that PDF that they've asked for. So every single request comes back with a HTTP status code or a response code. And if it has data, it sends back the data. All right, so let's go over a couple of HTTP status codes that are well known that you might say, "Oh yeah, I know about that one, but now I understand what's really going on." So the four most popular ones are, first of all, 200, which is okay, success. And you never get a message about this because when the browser gets what it needs, it does something. And so you or your students will never notice that there's a problem because every time a web page works, it's a success. And underneath, there were potentially dozens of requests that were made, and they're all success. So they all return back a code 200, and they return back some data like an HTML web page or your course icon or a quiz in your course. Okay. Next up is a 301 or a 302. These are redirects. This means that that particular asset, that resource, whatever it is, has been moved. And the server says, "Oh yeah, I know what you're looking for, but that's not here anymore. It's at this new location." So that might happen maybe if you rebrand your community and your community used to be at a firstname.com and now it's at a secondname.com. So when students go to the old place, they might get back a redirect, and then the browser, which is really cool, automatically goes to the next place. Or maybe you rename the file and that file doesn't have that name. If you set it up correctly, you have a redirect so that the browser automatically goes and gets the new file. The next one is a 404. So this one is terrible. We've all seen it before when we go to a web page and we get a 404 error. That basically means that the browser was not able to get that web page or a part, something that you're asking for, like maybe a video or an image. You or a student incorrectly types the name of a resource, or you click on a hyperlink on your community. Oh, hey, I want to go to the web post for this community post. You click on it, but unfortunately it was copied and pasted incorrectly. So when they click on it, they go to a browser and they see a 404 error, which basically means, hey, this resource wasn't found. And it doesn't exist under that server does not have that exact file that you've asked for. And finally, the last status code we're going to talk about is 500. The 500 error code is basically the server had an error. It can't respond. Maybe the server's crashed, or maybe it's overwhelmed. And for whatever reason, there's hundreds or thousands of students accessing the videos right now. Maybe you just had a live launch. So when you get an error 500, the servers are overwhelmed, they're busy. Students can try again, and it might work a little later when the load on the servers go down. Those are the common status codes that students might see, and they might enter into a trouble ticket or something like that. So 200s, they're not going to talk about because the stuff is just going to work. The course, the community, your teacher website, when all the parts of your site work, great. You're going to get back 200 codes, and the browser is just going to render, right? That art, that browser, that user interface, whatever it is. 301, 302s are redirects, and if it all works correctly, and as you upgrade your system, you strategically use those redirects so that you can get the latest versions of your app. And if that works, great. If not, there might be a problem, but look out for those, and those are called redirections. And they're also really useful for SEO. The 404 means it couldn't find something. It used to be there, or you think you're going somewhere. Maybe there was a typo, or maybe there was something that was there, but it was moved and wasn't redirected. And now students are getting 404 errors. And then 500 or variations of 500, 501, different numbers could be used to basically say the server can't work right now. Maybe the server is maxed out, or maybe the server crashed, or maybe you're at a disk drive or database is maxed out. Something happened that the server just can't complete this request. So now you know what HTTP status codes are, and as part of your support process, if you were to see one of these status codes, you would know potentially how to fix it, and it's something that you can do in your standard operating procedures as you support your students. Let's go over an example. If you have a student, they're at home, they're on a computer, and they type HTTPS, which is the secure version of HTTP, right? Either way, underneath, you're going to have status codes when you make individual requests. So you're going to either make an HTTP or an HTTPS request, and that's the protocol. That's that you're using a secure phone line versus an unsecured phone line. But basically, that's how they're going to communicate. That's how your browser is going to talk through the internet to a server. Okay, so let's just say you're talking to your course server. And the students at home, they're on the browser, they are on your course system, and they request a lesson resource called the Drama Guide PDF. So they make the request, the browser sends a message to the server, I would like the Drama Guide.pdf. In this particular case, the server says, oh, I'm so sorry, that Drama Guide is no longer available. It's a 301 redirect. Browser, I don't have that, but I do have it at moredramaguide.pdf. Instead of Drama Guide, I have More Drama Guide, right? So it sends back a message. And then the browser says, oh, okay, well, I'll go get that instead. So it makes a request for moredramaguide.pdf. And then the server says, oh, I have the new file called moredramaguide.pdf. 200, okay, so yes, I have a success browser. here is the data, and it sends over all the bytes, and it lets a client know, hey, I'm going to send you back this type of file called a PDF. So it says, okay, I have it. Here's the type of the response called PDF, and here's a bunch of bytes. And you could take those bytes and browser, you could do whatever you want. You can open up the file, you could show it in your browser, whatever you want to do. You could let the students save the file. But the point is that the browser received the PDF file and can do stuff with it. So that sort of request response over the course of one or many files is how your students are going to see your courses, your communities, and your teacher websites. And as a teacher, or potentially as the operations team is going to be able to use these HTTP status codes to figure out why your customers and students may be experiencing some problems. So now you're a lot smarter on HTTP requests. You understand what an HTTP is, how there's kind of this back and forth ping pong where your browser, your app makes a request, the server sends back a response, sometimes with data, sometimes just as an error code. There's a lot more info and resources in the notes. Please subscribe to get more tips for creative online course teachers. And for tech help with courses, communities, or teacher websites, visit www.rtcourseexperts.com. Talk to you soon.